The excitement surrounding Jeff Brohm might not have completely gone away, but it's definitely worn off, and fans are now waiting for him to take this program to a level that they were hoping for. I don't know if that happens this year, but there's definitely guys that are on the roster that can make that happen. It's just a matter of can they put it all together. They lose one of their stars, but they do get one back essentially. Not that he was gone, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Brohm has the talent again to bring this team to a new level. It's just a matter of can they put it together all on the field. Number 10, safety Marvin Grant, 14 tackles, 3 for loss last year. The defense obviously is going to be something everybody watches just because it just seems like with Brohm, his defenses are going to be the X factor for this team. The offense should be just fine with him running the show. With the talent they have returning to, there's no doubt that they can be that kind of team. It's just a matter of what can the defense do. And there's some nice pieces returning. There's a stud coming back as well. So it's not like they're working with nothing. They have plenty of talent to do it. They have the guys on the roster that can elevate this team because the defense is going to be the one that does that. There's part of the offense that will need to improve, but still, this is a team that's going to be just fine if they're able to put things together on defense. Number 9, defensive end Demarcus Mitchell, 6 tackles for loss last year. Not the best defensive end on this team, but a guy that is probably going to see less help because of the other guy that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Number 8, linebacker Jalen Alexander, 49 tackles, 2 for loss last year. A guy that can really be a playmaker. The defensive line should be just fine this year, so that leaves more plays open for linebackers like Alexander to make this year. Number 7, guard Mark Stifford, 10 games last year, or in 2019, I should say, and now he's back to stabilize this offensive line. This offense has some talent, even though Rondell Moore is gone. It's it's almost probably better that Rondell Moore is gone, honestly, because don't get me wrong, Rondell Moore is a legendary player for Purdue, someone that will always be someone that people talk about when you're talking about Purdue football. They'll talk about Drew Brees, they'll talk about Rondell Moore. That's how good he was. But I think at times the offense relied on him too much. It was almost like, well, we need a play, let's give it to Rondell. So now it kind of forces you to make plays with other people. You kind of have to spread the ball around a little bit more. And Rondell's not there to bail you out. So it'll be good. And blocking up front is going to play a bigger role because they have some good players, but they don't have players like Rondell Moore. They don't have that type of player that is just special yet. They have a couple good players. We'll talk about one that is going to see a lot more action because Moore is gone. But this is going to be a team that's going to have to be more balanced on offense. Number 6, wide receiver Milton Wright, one of the receivers that will benefit from Rondell Moore not being on the roster anymore. Now he's in the NFL. 305 yards and 2 touchdowns last year. Again, the guy that we'll talk about a little bit is going to see more of that attention that Moore saw in 2020 and 2019. And that means that guys like Milton Wright can step up and make plays for them and have a big year. Number 5 is quarterback Jack Plummer. Jack is the son of Jake Plummer, for those who don't know. 938 yards with 8 touchdowns and 2 picks last year. If the passing attack can continue being what people think it's going to be, this offense will be just fine. And Plummer showed some flashes in his time as a starter, in his time on the field. Can he take another step? Can he take a step in his development, develop as a passer? He has the talent around him to do it. He has the pass catchers that are more than capable of making plays for him. So it feels like it's a good situation for him to be in. Number 4, safety Cam Allen. So Purdue might have 2 of the best safeties in the Big Ten this year, or at least they'll be up there. So it's going to be interesting to see what this defense does. Like I said, they're going to be the ones that need to step up, but they at least have some talent and they have some guys returning that can make that happen. Number 3 running back Xander Horvath, third team All Big Ten last year with 442 yards and 2 touchdowns. The rushing attack really needs to step up. People know that Purdue can pass the ball. It's just a matter of can they run the ball as well. Number 2, wide receiver David Bell. Now, Bell, because of Rondell Moore's injuries, at times saw more double teams than I think he anticipated as a freshman and a sophomore. And he took that in stride and did what he had to do. I think teams knew that he was the next guy they'd have to double, and David Bell found a way to still win against double teams. And then if you leave him one-on-one, it's just an easy win for him. There's no doubt about that. This year he's going to see more double teams again. They're going to see more attention his way, and while that benefits Milton Wright, Jack Plummer knows that David Bell is still going to make plays for him. Last year he had 625 yards and 8 touchdowns. A 1,000-yard season is not out of the question for him, and a future in the NFL is also not out of the question as well. And then number 1, defensive end George Karlaftis. Despite having such a limited year, he was second team All Big Ten last year. And for those who don't remember his 2019 season, he had 17 tackles for loss and 7.5 sacks. A future in the NFL, obviously, and defensive end that's going to wreak havoc against really everybody that they face. George Karlaftis is one of the best defensive players in all of college football, and it gives Purdue a player that can at least draw some attention. So his stats might not be the same, but he's at least going to affect the opposing offense because teams are going to have to scheme against him. They're going to have to send extra help his way, and that opens things up for the guys around him as well. So Purdue, there's the pieces there. There's definitely the talent to do what they want to do. There's definitely time for Jeff Brohm to get this program where fans want it to be, and there's no reason why this team can't be not a contender in the Big Ten for the championship, but they definitely can improve, that compete in their division. And some of these guys are going to be really fun to watch, and we really need to value that time that we have to watch them while they're still on campus.